Tricky baby. Number frequency.
So in the early days of the AIDS outbreak, the stigma associated with the disease was so great that celebrities affected by it took pains to hide their condition from the public. Today, things have changed. There's less stigma associated with the disease and the people it affects, and treatments have improved to the point where many people who test HIV positive can live long and healthy lives despite their diagnosis. Many celebrities, rather than to hide their condition, have been open about it, paving the way for greater understanding, public awareness and funding. Here are some of the South African celebrities who've chosen to be among the public faces of those living with HIV. At number 1, we have CHRISELDA DUDUMASHE. Not only was she mistreated as a young girl, but CHRISELDA has positively lived with HIV for many years, giving hope to many that your status does not have to define you. Her tremendous work has even earned her an award for her contribution towards the upliftment of young women in South Africa. This radio host and activist was diagnosed with HIV 2 decades ago, a time when there was almost no hope for pregnant moms and babies. Today, she's a mother, motivational speaker, professional counselor, and serves on the board of the South African National AIDS Council. Having been infected by a partner, CHRISELDA uses a personal story to inspire and encourage people to take responsibility for the choices they make. She believes there's a need to educate people and takes opportunities to correct incorrect assumptions. CHRISELDA explained that she had to remind herself of her journey to inspire herself to keep fighting. She said, "It's 19 years later and I'm still here. I just had to reread my story as motivation to self. My immune system is taking a knock, but I will not go down without a fight." CHRISELDA also said that she's a testament to her belief that living with HIV has taught her to treasure every day. What seemed to be a life sentence when she tested positive to HIV antibodies has turned into the greatest opportunity for her to learn and teach methods of living and growing in any challenge. She added that knowing that she is never alone and God is always with her is what has kept her. She came to that realization at 7 years of age when God protected her after she ran away from home and stayed on the streets. God always provided an angel for her to help shine the light in the darkness. She also learned that everything that happens in life is meant to happen to you in particular, and there is a lesson to be learned. At number 2, we have MUSA Queen NJOKO. She had been an asthma sufferer since the age of 12, an affliction she really never outgrew. At 22, it seems as though the disease had reared its ugly head again. As usual, she went to see a doctor for a monthly asthma checkup. At the time, it sounded a bit strange when he suggested she have an HIV test done, as she was not responding well to her prescribed medication as in the past. She said, "The doctor said that I kind of fit the profile of an HIV positive person." And true to his suspicion, she was told that she was HIV positive, something that never existed in her world. She stated, "I was devastated and frustrated. I didn't know how it was transmitted and how I ended up with it. There was a lot of confusion at the time because the doctor told me that I had 3 months to live." Today, MUSA is one of South Africa's best-known AIDS activists and also one of the country's most sought-after gospel artists. MUSA said, "I contracted the virus from a partner that I had at the time. I then decided to inform my former partner. We were no longer together at the time. It was a short-lived relationship. I told him, and based on his reaction, it seemed as if he already knew." At 22, NJOKO was like any other young adult, trying to figure out who she really was, enjoying life with her friends and family. She said she had to grow up in that moment. She had to think differently compared to other 22-year-olds. She had to mature, she had to grow up and deal with the issues that other 22-year-olds didn't have to think about. While initially in shock, her family supported her throughout her illness, as they still do till this day. In 1995, when she publicly disclosed her status, some members of her community were hostile towards her. MUSA's faith has played a huge role in her journey, saying, "Without my faith and hope in Christ, I'd be long gone. My faith has kept even the enemy alive and well when I was physically finished. I've been able to survive and come out strong where many do not. I am able to dream without fear. I am able to spread my wings and fly to reach the stars." At number 3, we have LESEGO MOTSEPE. LESEGO, loved by the South African public for a portrayal of Leti Matabane on the popular SABC3 soapie, Lesidingo, might still be alive today as she continued taking her HIV medication. LESEGO made a choice that seemed best for her and stopped taking ARVs in favor of a special diet and homeopathic interventions. She was found lifeless at her home in Randburg, Johannesburg, back in 2014. On World AIDS Day in 2011, LESEGO took a brave stand and did what many celebrities would not dare to do at the time by revealing that she had been HIV positive for 13 years and had been taking ARVs for some time. Fellow celebrities, the media, the public, and AIDS activists welcomed the declaration and embraced her as a role model in a country where very few exist. She went on to speak publicly to offer courage and comfort to those living with and affected by HIV and those afraid to disclose their status. But this was to be short-lived. A year later, LESEGO took another brave stand and announced that she had stopped taking ARVs. Instead, she had started taking alternative treatment consisting of a special diet and homeopathic remedies. LESEGO disappeared from the public eye as a positive role model for people living with HIV. When she resurfaced, it was as a statistic of the many who have passed away from HIV. Speaking at her memorial service at the SABC headquarters, former NJOKO co-star Mboya was quoted as saying she was heartbroken by MOTSEPE's passing, which could have been prevented if she had remained on ARV treatment. LESEGO's suspension of the treatment might be seen as a manifestation of denial that still affects some HIV-infected people. Many of us know people who don't get reported on the news, friends, relatives, and partners who refuse or stop taking ARVs for various reasons or beliefs, with the end result being severe illness, resistance to treatment when resuming taking it, or losing one's life. At number 4, we have Sadie Brown. Dr. Google terrified Sadie. For Sadie, when she was diagnosed with HIV at the age of 14, all the online information sounded like a visitation from hell. She said, "I read that my teeth and my hair would fall out and that I'd get a lump on my back. I was so scared I went into denial." She ignored the results of the random HIV testing day that she attended as a representative for her school. Denial made her keep her status a secret, even as she continued to Google and the search results continued to freak her out. Eventually, about 6 months later, she told her teacher, who went with her to tell her aunt. She said, "I hadn't been intimate with anyone, and that's when we realized that I must have been born with HIV." Sadie's dad passed away when she was 9, her mom a year later. Her 2 older siblings who were tested later were HIV negative. "I was really angry and I couldn't relate to anyone. I resented my aunt and my siblings and my parents." All the while, she stayed silent, keeping the secret to just her immediate family. It wasn't until she turned 18, when sores on her chest spread to her face and neck, that she knew she had to act. She said, "I was still blaming the sores on the heat, and I would buy umbrellas and shades and hide behind those. But I did know something wasn't right, so I went to the clinic. They had my records from 4 years earlier, and the counselor started to talk to me and told me to stop believing all the stuff I've Googled about ARVs. I said I'd only give 6 months of my life to the ARVs, but it turned out I didn't have any side effects." Alright, that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, and hit the notification bell.